What's going on, everyone? Happy Thursday. We're almost to the weekend, and your boy's back in studio. Welcome back into the Ryan Ripken Show. We got a lot to talk about, and I mean a whole heck of a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of things in Baltimore and storylines. Lamar Jackson, could he be back on Sunday? That's the big football storyline in Baltimore. And then who is the Orioles manager going to be? A couple teams made their choices in the last couple days, the Angels and the Giants. Two first-time managers at the big league level. But the story that is really all over the internet and all over the country is what just broke this morning with the FBI arresting over 30 individuals in relation to illegal sports gambling. So we're going to get into all that. That's a heavy conversation here, but it is Thursday. We like to have some fun, and it's spooky season. So later on in the show, we're going to talk about maybe some of our favorite holiday Halloween movies. But join me in studio, start to the left, then I'll go to the right, to the left. Brad.
What up?
Oi, how we doing?
I'm fine. The NBA is not.
Oh, gosh. It's not fine.
It's not fine.
Professional sports might not be fine.
On a day when Wembanyama absolutely went off, here we are talking about this bullshit.
It is a wild conversation. And to my right, Mr. Bolly, Zach Bollinger.
Yeah, I mean, the story should be about Wembanyama because he's going to be the greatest basketball player of all time. It's just a matter of time.
Whoa.
He is interesting.
It's an alien. He should not. He was created in a lab. That you should not be that size doing the things he looks like he's playing on a Lil Tykes hoop. Like literally, he had to lower his head on a dunk because he was about to hit it when he was going in reverse. It's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, what a day for sports. What a day for the mafia. We're back. I tweeted it out. We haven't had a good mafia story.
You know, the NBA hasn't been the NBA since that NBA Jam came out.
Yeah.
Oh, sugar.
Just flipping it on.
Turn that thing on right now.
There it is.
He's on fire.
He's on fire. There was just another story that I was just seeing online about the NBA investigation of who another person, a prominent player that wasn't involved in the incident, but he was a name that is involved in the conversation. You just saw this, right?
Name of interest?
Mm-hmm.
Not even a name of interest, but a source, a person that people wanted significant information on.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, so let's just dive right into this because, like, I was going to say, let's banter a little bit. Let's have some fun. Let's throw Kyle around. Zach, catch Kyle. Nice. And we will be back to Cook with the Iron Rooster, cooking with Kyle in the future. But shirts and pants, man, oh, my gosh. This is a disaster for not just the NBA, but professional sports. So if you guys haven't seen the story, starting at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Starting at 6 a.m., the FBI started to make arrests. And the first two prominent names came out of the NBA. Head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, Hall of Famer, right? Chauncey Billups. And then down in Miami, the Miami Heat player, I believe it was in Orlando, Terry Rozier was arrested among 28 others, at least 30 arrested in this case so far on illegal gambling probes. But it doesn't stop there. The other image that I'm going to pull up here gives you a little bit more information on why, and Zach, why you made the mafia comment here, is 3, 2, 1, always take the under. Chauncey specifically has been charged in an illegal poker operation tied to the mafia, while Heat guard Terry Rozier was arrested in a separate but related investigation. His was more around injuries, around some prop bets that involved him and the Heat.
Insider information.
We could go down the laundry list of situations and reasons in here.
And we're also talking like tens of millions of dollars here.
And we're going to get...
It's not a small thing.
Well, and actually, maybe to kick this part off.
And by the way, these are involving games all the way as recent as March of 2024.
Oh man, and I mean, there are so many people that have talked about this today already and going on. If you watched ESPN earlier, it was all over there and a lot of opinions thrown out there. And we had you guys. My dilemma of even talking about everything that Stephen A. Smith talked about, because there's so much opinion involved with what's happening right now. There's so much opinion that's going on. Here is what we do know. And let's start with hearing from FBI Director Kash Patel, because he briefed everyone today on a press conference of what has transpired. So, Brad, if you don't mind, let's play that clip.
I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. The men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery.
This is deep.
Yeah.
Deep. And I've been going back and forth on this whole, conversation of what to play, and I'm having second thoughts about this, Brad. I kind of do want to play the Stephen A. Smith clip. and
like I said, whatever you want to do.
Right. So I will play it from the part that I want, because there's so much political conversation in this that I do not want to get into.
Yep.
We're not a political show.
No.
But we want to try to have people understand the timeline of what's been going on. So I will play the clip from where I wanted to start, and then we will talk about on the other side where Stephen A. Smith this morning on ESPN First Take made some comments that were more politically directed, but I want to talk about what I think the significant message and the problem right now that we're seeing with professional sports.
Not coincidental. It's not an accident. It's a statement. And it's a warning that more is coming. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're saying here. And everybody better, I'm just telling you, it's as serious as it gets. This ain't the platform for me to get into it the way I'm going to get into it. But I've been saying he's coming. He's coming. Because in his eyes, folks try to throw him in jail. In his eyes, he's innocent. They try to put me behind bars. I'm getting everybody. He's not playing. And so this, in a lot of people's eyes, talk to people in the NBA, talk to people in the NFL, talk to people in the world of sports. They think this is like the tip of the iceberg. These are the kind of words that are coming out of people's mouths. It's not a surprise. It's very disheartening. It's very concerning. We don't know where this is going to go. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Everybody's better brace themselves because he's coming.
So right there was...
What word?
Oh, sorry. Right there, Stephen A. Smith was having more comments that were alluding to President Trump when it came from why this was happening, in the words of a vendetta. I don't want to get into the politics of that. I want to get into what we do know about this investigation. And this investigation stemmed from 2019, where there's first accounts all the way to 2024, just last year with games.
Yep.
The illegal rings, and you just heard the FBI director talk about the mafia groups that were involved and how things are connected. And I think the bigger thing here, and the one comment that I can say that Stephen A. was talking about, but it's different context, because I think it's way too much of that specific part. I don't want to get into that. The part when he said the tip of the iceberg, he was talking about with President Trump. But what I want to talk about is that the tip of the iceberg here is about the fear of where professional sports could go and how bad this could get. Because, guys, what has happened already the last couple of years in professional sports?
Yeah.
The NBA had someone get banned in the last year. MLB is awaiting to announce what they're going to do with 2 MLB players this year. They've already banned a minor league player in the past, but Emmanuel Clase, who is an all-star, top-of-the-line closer, they haven't made a decision on him, and his was on the investigation of being involved in sports betting, inside information.
Yeah.
And this, and the reason we're bringing this up is that if you're a sports fan, what have we heard about? It's scripted, it's rigged, the integrity. Look, sports betting, it's legalized. You know, it's like we have a segment on it. It's supposed to be fun in that sense. This goes way deeper.
Oh, yeah.
It's bringing people's fears to life, that the entertainment part is not fully just entertainment. There's other parts.
I mean, I will say, like, I think that to add to the context of the Stephen A., this has been an investigation that stems all the way back to 2019 and then into 2020. So, like, this wasn't something that just got cooked up since the president got in the office. This has been an ongoing thing. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And then the crazier part to think about, and Zach and I were talking about this before the show, is like, the money that was won from this was pennies compared to the salaries that some of these people were making.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, to me, it just makes zero sense. All you had to do was just not gamble. You could do whatever you wanted after you got done playing ball, right? Like, you can gamble your heart out when you're done. But for whatever reason, these people continually get caught doing dumb shit for what? Like, pennies compared to what they're making in their career. Throw their whole career away. $26 million a year, I think, or $26 million contract, regardless. And Rozier was getting like $200,000 or something like that.
What was it? 300 some grand a games at?
Yeah, like $325 a game.
Just makes no sense. You know, when you just throw that away for some dumb shit. It's just a huge head scratcher for me.
Well, and then, Terry Rozier's agent actually wrote, I have it right here. His attorney wrote, and I quote, for those that are listening on Spotify and Apple, "We have represented Terry Rozier for over a year. A long time ago, we reached out to these prosecutors to tell them we should have an open line of communication. They characterized Terry as a subject, not a target. But at 6 a.m. this morning, they called to tell me FBI agents were trying to arrest him in a hotel. It is unfortunate that instead of allowing him to self-surrender, they opted for a photo op. They wanted the misplaced glory of embarrassing a professional athlete with a perp walk. That tells you a lot about the motivations in this case. They appear to be taking the word of spectacularly incredible sources rather than relying on actual evidence of wrongdoing. Terry was cleared by the NBA and their prosecutors, revived that non-case, and Terry is not a gambler, but he is not afraid of a fight, and he looks forward to winning this fight." But going to the point of this is one of the conversations every spring training that I had going down for baseball. When you get to play for a living, or you have an opportunity, and your job says, "Hey, we're going to compensate you to do this, and you can make a lot of money, but here are our unbreakables. Don't get involved in these specific situations." And the number one thing for us in baseball is never bet on baseball. If you're in here, hey, great, congratulations. Here's your opportunity. You bet on baseball, you're done. It's not like it was black and white.
Yep.
Don't do it. And we can go back to other teams and other problems, and I feel bad for when I think back to the NFL with this case, because it always pops into my head, but not gambling. But since you brought up, Brad, the You're getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like Josh Gordon, I know having a substance addictive abuse, and people were saying, oh, it was just marijuana at the time. And again, I don't know Josh Gordon's life on that side, but the reality of his case was Josh could have made a lot of money, and they said, you can't do this. And again, he had a sickness, so I understand, but the point is still the point. If an organization is going to pay you a lot, whether you like it or not, these are the rules and you'll get rewarded, then great.
It's just crazy. Like, you worked your entire life
To get to it.
to get to where you're at professionally, and you're just like, fuck it. That's just like the wildest thing to me. The wildest thing.
It just makes no sense. Just
No.
like we talked about, there's got to be more involved, and just there's like the tip of the iceberg thing, because I mean we talked about it. It makes no sense to me to throw away potentially your entire everything you've worked for, all the money you've made, for something that's less than your game check.
Yeah.
Like
Per
it would
game.
be like the average person trying to throw everything away for like, oh, we're giving you $85. It's like
Yeah.
you make more than that in a day. Why are you throwing everything away? It just, that's what just feels super weird, is that all of this, specifically in the Terry Rozier thing, it's like he had the money, and it's not, it would be one thing if it's like, damn, Terry made 1.3 mil off that game. And it's like, okay, he's trying to take that risk to, make that massive profit. This is just kind of a little add-on to his already bigger than that game check. That's where I was kind of like that just, it's kind of dumb. Like, that's the biggest thing I've seen on the internet. It's like, why would you, like, where was the math in your head that you were thinking this was worth it?
It's a question that you always put out there, and the bigger part now, which the NBA, I do not envy what Adam Silver and the NBA is going to have to dig themselves out of. But guess what? This is not just for Adam Silver. We're talking about all the pro leagues. Like, this is, I really unfortunately believe that we are going to hear other names. And that's when I go back, what my tip of the iceberg is, I think that we're going to see more unfortunate cases like this come up. Because in baseball, you can bet on a pitch. That's what got Clase and I'm blanking on the other name, but Clase is the big name. It was, they were trying to identify, because you could bet on a pitch. Luis Ortiz.
Yeah.
So you could bet on a specific pitch of the inning. And look, like, we all have choices. If you're not in the NBA or MLB or any of these pro leagues and you want to do anything on your own time, that's completely fine. But also, let's make no mistake, the players, the risk is there. You lose your job. And then for everyone else that's involved, if you want an opportunity, you got to know what the risks are. And now what we're also seeing, though, is this goes way deeper, Brad, than this isn't even about legalized gambling.
Yeah.
Talking about the freaking mafias involved in, like, that's the connections, which, by the way, unless you being naive to this, like, this poker games and opportunities and all that, like, that's been going on for decades and decades and decades of sports. But who you're mixing yourself up with, that's the part here. And the Chauncey Billups thing, man, I'm really interested to see what comes of that.
Yeah, and Brooks brings up a good point. Channel member, by the way, hit that join button to help support the channel. But says that, guys, that's just what they've been able to prove and have good evidence on. There's a lot more, I'm sure, and that's kind of what we were talking about too. Just like, hey, like, this feels kind of like the beginning of a big. I mean, maybe, hopefully, this is just it.
We hope it is.
I hope that this is all they found, and like, there's nothing else going on. But it certainly feels like the wheels are just turning on this thing.
And here's one thing, for instance. So Pablo Torre, he's been hot on a lot of the comments, and this is his tweet earlier. But he tweeted this out after reading the 2 DOJ indictments. It seems pretty clear that Chauncey Billups is a central figure in both the poker and the betting investigation, which are intertwined in multiple other ways, he continued to say. He isn't named in the latter of the indictments, but the allegations for, and I quote, co-conspirator 8 are huge. That's the quote. Like, this is deep. This is deep, dark, woof.
Yeah.
But it does pose the question, where does professional sports continue to move? Because for all the people that said they don't like gambling, this is gambling's for the devil, shout out mama in The Water Boy, this is where it's coming to. But I really do believe the players, you need to be able to understand what the consequences are. And it doesn't mean that your friends are always going to, if you would confide in a friend of just talking, like there's another report right now that The Athletic put out, Zach. I don't know if you just saw that with LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the report out, Zach, that LeBron's name got thrown into this.
Yeah, he's the only Laker player involved of the 4 teams that were mentioned. He's the only player that was named.
And it's not because LeBron is being named as a target.
No.
Is that one of his friends was giving insider info on LeBron's status. Like, that's where this is going.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think it was it Cash Patel that said, like, this is the insider trading version of sports betting?
Kind of. I don't know if he said that exactly, but that
somebody said it this morning, and I was like, yeah, what? It sure feels like that.
It sure does feel like that. But for right now, professional sports, the one thing I'll say about the gambling space, this gambling happened when it was legal, and when it's certainly happened for decades when it was illegal.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of the times, it was when it was illegal. And the problem isn't about your responsibility to bet. As an individual not involved, but if you are involved, you have contracts, you have obligations, you have it right then and there. Legalized betting, don't do it, you'll get banned. Illegal betting, you're really treading water, and that's even more at your own risk. Why? You could be in a situation that we've seen unfolded here today.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean,
that's the whole thing where I've seen so many people be like, oh, like this is simple. Just get rid of, I've seen so many accounts and people being like, well, the states and government just have to make player props illegal. Player props have been bet way before FanDuel and DraftKings became legal.
Yeah.
Like if you take away prop betting, if you take away any betting, you're like, oh no, this is going to fix it.
No.
Okay. Now you're just pushing people to illegal sport book. Oh, okay. Offshore, instead of giving FanDuel my money that then goes to whatever, gets taxed, government, all that.
Yeah.
I'm now going offshore. You have all those millions of dollars that you were making are now illegally going. Gambling's not going to stop. Gambling wasn't invented, sports gambling, when
it was legalized.
FanDuel didn't, FanDuel, DraftKings, ESPN, all them, they didn't create sports gambling. It's happened for, centuries.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Romans were betting, they were gambling.
They might have been betting chickens.
Yeah. Like it's always been there. You're not stopping anyone from, like, I've seen so many people like, this is why they need to ban player props. So that you just have to do it in shadier ways. It's like, at least now it's all out there for people to get caught. It's like, it's that way.
I played a game of Monopoly for money, that's a form, right? But like, that's to your exact point. Like the concept has been going on for a tale as old as time. And I am really curious back in the day now. And I'm talking about back in the day, like, centuries and centuries ago, I will, not barter, but I will, what's another fancier term? Like if I'm trying to act more proper because the English language has evolved, but I will place this wager. I will wager my wheat, I raise you my chicken, I don't know. No, but to Zach's point, did I lose you there for a second?
Yeah,
maybe?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, this is what you do know what we're talking about. This isn't good. It's not good. And I to your point, Brad, I hope this is the end of it. Reality is it probably isn't. But for all players that want to be involved in sports, if you have the opportunity, that part is black and white. You want an opportunity and you want to stay way clear of it, you can do that. And unfortunately right now for those involved, Well, this situation's only going to heat up here over the next weeks, months, and years. And I am really curious when the Clause news comes out. Like, we're still sitting on that for the MLB. Like, we still don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So even though, like, there's reports that, rumors, we're not going to report on it because we don't know, but there's a good chance Clause could get banned. Like, that's an outcome. That's an outcome here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but we know what's going to happen is we're going to continue on with the show. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. Do this live every Monday and Thursday in studio here around 4. But we've been talking, Brad. We were talking. Zach, hey, how you doing? We went live yesterday. We're thinking about doing something live around the same time during the week.
Yep.
So for our channel members, because that's what we have unlocked right now. So all of our channel members, see ya. Bark in the chat if you'd be cool with that. We got a good response yesterday. There's so much to cover from our audience that loves baseball and football. So we believe that, all right, 2 days we'll do the big show. The other days, we'll find other ways to get you storylines and content. Yesterday was just baseball and just manager and all that hoopla. And everyone in Baltimore is going, when are we hiring a manager? Because the Giants just hired a manager and the Angels. So maybe that can be a good segue into that conversation there.
Well, 2 last things.
Oh, boy.
One, I just got text. Yeah, there is gambling. It's dated back to like 3000 BC with like dice and stuff. And 2, underrated aspect of the story is Tiago Splitter is now the head coach for the Trailblazers. Good for him for still like taking a role player, 10 years as a role player. I know he got blocked by LeBron in the finals. Just parlaying that. That's probably the wrong word to use in this situation. And then turning that into becoming an NBA head coach. Good for him. Good for him. I saw that news. I was like, there's no way that man is a coach in the NBA, and now he's a head coach. So good for Tiago Splitter.
An incredible name, by the way, too.
Tiago.
That was one that I could always remember. Oh, Tiago.
For the Spurs.
Just fantastic.
Him and Timmy D.
Dude, Mr. Fundamental, you kidding me? And yes, the NBA is back, kicked off, a lot of great games. But again, no one's talking about that. Why? There was a big old thing that happened here.
That first game was unbelievable.
It was great, but
double overtime and nobody cares.
No.
Like that was one of the best games I've seen in a very long time.
yeah, how about that? A little, hey, how you doing with all that? So anyway, I see in the chat, we got the members only chat on right now still, Brad.
Yep.
So if you guys want to be a member, click that join button. Be a Rips Better Kid. You get the opportunity for videos, behind the scenes, and first peek at some of our interviews and more of our content that's upcoming. If you want to support the channel, Rips Good Kids, that still helps us too. Help us continue to grow because our goal is here to have the big show 5 days a week. Hang out here with you all. Have some fun. Have some great guests. And then we have some other ideas around the holiday that I was talking with Deep Eddie Dave about. I think
Okay.
it would be fun, and you might see a whole different side of the Ryan Ripken Show.
Ooh.
But it's also a good message about safety too. That's a little teaser. But do we transition? Well, it's kind of, but it's hilarious. You're going to love this idea when I tell you, Brad.
Okay.
And maybe I'll tell then our Rips Better kids here too first. Zach, I'm curious with him too. But yeah, whatever. Do we go manager? Do we go baseball?
Let's go, man.
Baseball. And shout out our friends over at merrickclubs.com, by the way. And if you want to become a member at Merrick Clubs, $1 enrollment fee right now, fellas, for their early spooky season. Black savings or Black Friday savings is early with when you go to Merrick Clubs. They're not waiting until the day after Thanksgiving. No. You can start a $1 enrollment right now. You just got to go to merrickclubs.com or check out a Merrick Clubs location. Zach, how do you spell $1?
MERRITT.
Did you spell that?
CLUB.
S.
Yes.
.com.
That depends on, I guess, if you're going to a specific club. Clubs.
.com.
merrickclubs.com.
.com.
Spooky season. Well, you know what? Spooky season is behind
It's
us.
ahead of us, actually.
It's ahead of us. It's among us.
Yeah.
That's the word.
We're
I
in
wanna
it.
do.
We're in the ship.
We're in. We are in spooky season here. And I can sense a little bit of anxiety, stress.
It's a good song.
Oh, anxiety.
That's a bop.
A bop.
You want to talk about bops? That's a good bop.
Bop. Well, people are stressing about who the Orioles are going to hire as their manager.
Yeah.
Been asked that a lot still. Hey, Ryan, when's the manager getting announced? I don't know. When's the season start?
Ask your dad. God,
Yeah.
if I got $1 every time I saw a comment like that on all of our social media, be like, yeah, let's just ask him because he knows everything. That's all the pull.
Yeah. Well, right now, what's happening?
I'll just express the frustration myself.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I get it. People just want to know.
I know, but it's just like,
Hell, I'd like to know.
yeah,
you know?
that's what I'm saying. Like, people think that you just know it all. You really don't.
I mean, some things I might know.
You just
Some
don't know.
okay,
You just
but
don't
like
know.
Some things I don't know.
The
And in
people-
this case, I don't know.
that's what I'm saying. The things that people think you know, you really don't.
Well, because I think also people think that this decision's been made or they were already going to go with Tony Manzolino.
Yeah.
And the reports have come out. They've interviewed other managers because you know what? They are taking their time with this. And I know I understand there's a little bit more urgency. And why is there a little bit more urgency? Is because two teams just checked off their list of hiring a manager for 2026. Kurt Suzuki, 16-year MLB veteran, catcher behind the dish. He is now going to be at the helm for the Los Angeles Angels. And I actually kind of really like that hire where the Angels went away from an Albert Pujols.
Mhm.
And Torrey Hunter's name got thrown in there. All-star outfielder for the Twins, the Angels, a little bit of time with the Tigers towards the end. They went with Kurt Suzuki, but the interesting part here, Zach, it's a 1-year deal.
Yeah, so it actually matches up with the GM's contract, which is very interesting. So GM literally said in the press conference that they're tied at the hip. If they fail, they're both gone, which weirdly, if I'm Kurt Suzuki, I'm like, okay, like I guess even if you fail as a GM, I'm out of here too, but that's the risk I guess he's taking.
Yeah.
You do not see that. And in all honesty, it's probably one of the most Anaheim Angels things that you could ever do. It's like a Cleveland Browns move of like, hey, we're going to hire this coach for one season just to see what happens. And it's like, okay. I think Kurt Suzuki can be a great manager. I think it's unfortunate that his first one's going to be with the Angels. And
Yeah,
now,
I was
like,
thinking the same
it's just like the Angels who don't know whether the Angels will probably call up half of their draft picks from last year just in the next before spring training starts.
Well, they also killed off their last manager. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, that graphic.
That graphic was still
They just
it was tough, but for the Angels in general, like
there's also weird things coming out about Mike Trout and them.
yeah, I mean, there's just
Is there?
the Angels right now.
Dysfunction.
I'm excited for the opportunity for Kurt Suzuki, and actually,
Yes.
the Angels bought at the deadline. Like they thought they had a shot, and you know what? For a little bit of time.
The Angels were the only ones who thought they had a
Hey,
shot.
but you know what?
Yes, I was like, where are you going with this, Ryan? Like, I know that you like to be optimistic about everything, which is what I love about you. But let's be real, the Angels weren't going any fucking
Well,
way.
they bought. They were like, we're gonna do this,
And it
you-
was a dumb decision.
And you know what though? hey, everyone out there, if you don't believe in you, then who's gonna believe in you? All right?
when you buy at the deadline and the reaction from every analyst and fan is why, you probably don't have a team that you. Where did they even end up finishing?
I think they ended up finishing. I think they fell behind the A's.
They fell behind the Orioles. They finished 72-90.
What a time! So again, you have to believe in you. I don't know if everyone fully believes.
Rest in peace.
Worst graphic.
But the thing that was unfortunate for the Angels is they were building momentum until Ron Washington had to step away, and you had the interim come in, and you felt like, okay, they could make that jump, and then they fell apart. And so now for the Angels, which is kind of how they've been stuck, where their farm system hasn't been solid, They haven't been a winning team. And actually, right now, the AL West guys, the Astros finally fell in that division. Like, the A's are a better team than they were, and they got off to a brutal start.
Yeah.
But what, Seattle now is the king of the AL West, where
this season, the
but they should
Astros
be.
aren't going away.
Right. But I mean, are they the big bag Astros that they were? Who knows? But it's not like the AL East right now. When you look at next year, the Yankees will come back with a vengeance. So will the Red Sox. The Rays play well. And by the way, the Blue Jays are in the World Series. And then the Orioles are trying to get it back. So, like, when you look at the AL West, the Angels think maybe this could be an opportunity. But talk about pressure, because if the Angels play like they did this year, then Kurt Suzuki, then he's going to be gone. So I don't envy that decision. But I think that's not even the boldest move here, guys.
No.
The boldest move came when the Giants and Buster Posey said, hey, let me show you something you haven't seen before. We're going to take one of the top head coaches in college who hasn't been in pro ball, and we're going to put him right in the big leagues. Tony Vitello, head coach of the University of Tennessee Volunteers, has now been named the new manager of the San Francisco Giants, which it's the boldest move, like, just for what I just mentioned. It's never happened in Major League Baseball history. You've had guys that have then gone through the system of whether they, one, coached in the minors or coached on a staff, or if they didn't coach on a staff, they were a player and then they jumped into coaching. You know, we've seen that at times. Aaron Boone was an example. Stephen Vogt was an example. Kurt Suzuki, who was a special assistant, is an example. But again, all former players.
How do you think this plays out, Rick?
I think this is what happens. It's either going to be a trendsetter move, and we're going to see more of these things happen moving forward, or it's going to fall flat, and this idea is going to be gone.
That's a terrible answer. That's basically just saying it's going to be sunny outside or it's going to rain tomorrow.
So
tell me what you think is going to happen.
It's hard for me to say, because if you're making this investment in a head coach, and you're Buster Posey, you have to understand that 1 year to figure out if this works, unless it's a disaster, you're not going to get the full decision. Like, you have to commit to this groundbreaking move for more than 1 year. The problem is that the Giants, they were in that kind of, we hired Bob Melvin because we felt like we could compete. Mm-hmm. We felt like we could. And actually, they were the team that was supposed to. You traded for Rafael Devers, and then they fell and tanked and sold at the deadline.
And that's why I'm asking, because, like, I agree with you. And so when I'm asking you these questions, it's more of a, what do you think happens if this doesn't go well? Do you think that, and I'm asking you, as somebody who's obviously so involved in baseball and has seen everything, do you think that Buster Posey and this organization will have that patience, or is it going to be more of like a one and done kind of thing if it's an unsuccessful season?
You have to let this play out, unless it's the worst season and an embarrassment. And you're looking at, I want to go around the leagues real quickly, like an Urban Meyer situation down in Jacksonville, where it got so toxic that you had to make a move because you're like, this is not a fit. Like, this is a problem. Then Tony Vitello is going to have a grace period, because you're also going from coaching young adults to now grown-ass men, where now you're not managing where every 3-game series in the SEC on the weekend is you're trying to win that series by any means kind of necessary. In the big leagues, you can't do that. 162, you got to throw your guys out there. You got to manage the bullpen, and you got to be able to manage this team moving forward. Now, one thing that Tony Vitello, his strength is a culture, building a relationship. He's built up a great program at Tennessee, but the problem with it, college baseball is different than Major League Baseball. College baseball, you can have more small ball. You can have more of the, I don't want to say the energy is not the right word, but you watch how things are handled in college to the big leagues, and you guys know what I'm talking about. You know, and
Yeah.
I know that
So I'm with you on that. I think for this, I would measure the success of the Giants going to the playoffs next year. So do you think that with this managerial pick, them getting to the playoffs this year under this staff, do you think that would be a surprise to you, or do you think that would be something that's more expected than anything else?
I don't think it would be a surprise if they make it, but I don't think it's a surprise if they fall flat. And mainly it's not even for what he does as a manager. Like, that division's tough.
Yeah.
Minus the Rockies. Sorry, Colorado. Padres will be good next year. They should. The Diamondbacks should be good next year, or they should compete. They're losing some guys in free agency, but they should compete. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. They are going to compete. So it's a hard division to crack through. So ironically for me, the expectation with the roster of pieces that they have together, Brad, is that they can or could be able to go to the postseason. But unlike another position that I'll get to in a second, in Baltimore, the pressure for the manager coming in to be with the Orioles is you got to win right now. So I think that Tony Vitello, the pressure from being in a big market like San Francisco is they expect their team to be better, and they expect Giants baseball to be back. But it's not the end all if it's a rough year, because the Giants are right now, if we're going to look at this, Zach, what would you rate the Giants in that division? Third? Fourth?
Third.
They're third.
So
third.
So if they're the third team right now in that division, that pressure's off. Unlike, you go to Baltimore's case, where you're the Baltimore Orioles, and the Orioles might be the third team ranked in their division going into this season. But you know what the difference is? Is that the San Francisco Giants didn't have the most wins over the 2.5-year span prior to this. That was the Baltimore Orioles in the American League. The Baltimore Orioles were one of the top favorites in the American League to go to the World Series with almost the same nucleus. So Tony Vitello will have that grace in my mind. The next Orioles manager will not.
I also think that there's not a lot of pressure on Tony, to be honest. And that's weird to say, but I was reading stuff, and I actually agree with one people on Twitter for the first time in a while. If he fails, he can name his college, and he'll go back, and because he took Tennessee from people did not know to people couldn't tell you anything about Tennessee baseball to a national champion and a perennial national championship contender. I've seen people talking about if he fails first year, every AD in the country is going to be calling his name saying, hey, dude, come back and build this program up. Joe, not to get ahead of myself, but I did see a lot of Arkansas people. I know he coached there saying that's where he would go.
That's what my reaction was. It was more.
It's like a Nick Saban.
This is a low risk, high reward for Tony.
Yeah, that's why I took a pay cut.
He took less money.
He's able to go to Major League Baseball if he has success. Boom, awesome. He's an MLB manager. He's one of the top guys. Right into the sunset. All that. If he fails, he's 41, and you're telling me not every college program that needs to up there. In the SEC, they're calling him first time and going, Tony, come make it happen.
And that's exactly what happened when you looked at Nick Saban or even Urban Meyer. If Urban Meyer came back, if Urban Meyer right now wanted a head coaching job in college, I know that people were going to say how it ended in Jacksonville. Someone's going to hire him because what's happened, he wins. Nick Saban with the Dolphins, they weren't having a terrible year. It wasn't a great year with the Dolphins, but you know what? Nick was more comfortable back in college, and he was going to have all these opportunities. And Bama's like, hey, we want you. So
greatest college coach of all time.
So you're right. And that's the part of it too, is that the Giants, you're making a monumental move where the expectations are undefined because they don't know how you're going to be as a big league manager. So if you fail, okay, well, we could see that happening. But if you succeed, it opens up a whole new universe for how people are going to view college coaching. But I think what will happen in the process is people in the industry are going to wonder, well, what's my route to actually getting to be a big league manager?
I was just about to say this. So and we can go off on a whole tangent with this. It is interesting to me that we see this happen in the NBA. We see this happen in the NFL. We see this happen in every other sport except for baseball. And it also makes me wonder, like, are we going to see kind of like the value of the minor leagues diminish a little bit because of the what we're seeing in college baseball? College baseball is the most popular I think it's been probably ever.
Well, I think
And
for
so,
maybe
like,
for coaching.
Yeah.
Maybe for coaching, but also like I just don't know. Obviously, you're gonna, unless they change the rules, right? Like NFL, they're kind of working on this. NBA, you have to play 2 years of college. Like, I almost wonder if like we're starting to see a little bit of a shift, and as it relates to collegiate sports or baseball in particular, and the MLB.
Well, and the one thing I'll say with college football coaches going straight to the NFL, I have to look at the success rate, and I don't think off the top of my head the ones that come to my mind are Nick Saban, Urban Meyer.
Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh might be the one right now where you're like, okay, he has success.
Pete Carroll.
Jimmy Johnson,
Carroll,
Pete
right.
Carroll.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it's a mixed bag of results. So, okay, fair enough. But the baseball one, you're right, is that factor that we don't know.
It's just crazy to me that baseball's never done this before.
Mhm.
When every other sport's kind of like, it's the normal thing.
Yeah. But I could see kind of what you're saying, Brad. I could see it changing if this works out for Tony and the Giants. It changes the way that people get into Major League Baseball coaching.
That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. Yeah.
Because I think suddenly, it doesn't have to be, you have to be a former player. You have to be a bench coach. You have to work your way up from I'm coaching in single A to, kind of like what we see with Buck Britton, coaching throughout the minors, rising the ranks until he gets to, okay, now he's an assistant coach on the Orioles, and maybe he gets promoted to bench coach. So he gets a chance to manage. Now it's, hey, you find a good niche at a college, you build that college up. Okay, you now go to a big college, you win a national championship, you can go take over. And I think that's really cool.
Well, because here's my thing, and you know this, Rip. You played professional baseball in the minor leagues. Colleges are dumping money into sports, all sports.
Yeah.
Baseball has now come into that as far as the money dump's concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Major League Baseball doesn't really dump that kind of money into minor league baseball. So you almost kind of wonder if there's going to be this competing factor of like Major League Baseball is going to dump a ton of money into minor league ball to continue to develop their guys and attract guys into minor league ball, or is it going to be, oh no, we're dumping money into our athletes in college baseball, so you're going to have better athletes here in college baseball than you are and just bringing guys up through the minors?
Yeah, I mean the minors of why we haven't seen college coaches, in my opinion, is because when we look at the NFL, the NBA, you go essentially the NFL. If you get drafted, you're either in the league or you're not.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go play in the XFL or the USFL or whatever the leagues are now.
Right.
You can go and play in those leagues, but it's either you're going to be in the NFL or you're not. In college basketball to the NBA, they added the G League, but one league, it's either you're in it or there's a handful of spots that are going to be in the G League. In baseball, there are the 0.1, or we will just say 1% to be fair, but it's even less than that. Like, it's even more minuscule. College players don't go college right to the bigs. Now,
Right.
there are some players that have done it in the history of the league, but that's why I'm saying it's not even 1%. It is well below 1% because there is so much evolution for a player from college to get to the bigs. There's so much of a game that has to be changed. So, like, I'll use an example. I think I told you guys this. I played with a couple guys that were the ACC Player of the Year, Big Ten Player of the Year in college. We're there for 3-4 years.
So Honeycutt.
Not Honeycutt, but Honeycutt's another example of he was a dude, first-round pick. He's had struggles.
Yeah.
And for whatever reasons, he's got talent. He's had struggles. So it's guys are being vetted through the minor leagues because there's more about that you have to learn how to be a better professional player. But at the end of the day, a manager's job is to win games. You got to learn how to win games in the bigs. You manage it in the minors, you're learning how to manage and deal with pro players. But the biggest concern with most organizations in the minors is about development, is that you don't care as much about winning. In college, big schools, you got to win. You don't win, your ass is gone. But I remember a
But
conversation.
you don't win unless you have a talented roster.
For sure. Of course, talent in a lot of these places trumps.
That's kind of where I'm going with this. Is like, if you are there to win, that means you're bringing in the best talent. So then, if you're bringing in the best talent, does the talent pool start to get closer and closer to that major league level rather than coming in at single A? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think I don't want to put this as a fact or anything, but I think I forget what scout it was, said that high end, let's say SEC, these top programs, the level is closer to a high A. It's like a high A right below a double A, because the whole
Right now.
Yeah.
Right?
And the whole conversation was around pretty much it was like all these top guys that got like drafted by the Orioles, like all those guys. It's like, okay, yeah, they're raking at single A because we're used to playing pretty much a double A competition. So I see what you're saying with that. It's like right now, I think the competition, if you're saying competition wise, but that's also because, I mean, Rip, as you obviously know, single A, those guys, that's a lot of like guys that really would be in their freshman, sophomore years in colleges for a lot of times.
Yeah, I just can't help but wonder if just like with NIL coming along and everything else.
Oh, without a doubt. It's going to be more intriguing.
Yeah.
But the one thing I want to, because I hate when everyone goes, oh, it's like high A or double A. The SEC for baseball, Nick will be very happy to hear this. The SEC is the conference for baseball. It is. They have all those guys. I know Nick's going to be like, whoa, it is.
Sun Belt.
Yeah, obviously the Sun Belt as well. But the reason why they attract a lot of names, and on Friday, Saturday, those Friday, Saturday pitchers, a lot of those frontline guys are probably going to be high draft picks. The majority are. So you're seeing high caliber arms, but I still hate when everyone goes, oh, well, that playing the SEC is like playing in pro ball. Hell no, it ain't. And I can guarantee you that it's not. Because also I've seen guys in the minor league level. The reason why it's a lower minor league level, I think is because of the refinement of the talent. It's not because that the guys don't have the talent. So, like, let me use this as an example. The reason why some guys can go from the SEC right to high A if they're a top pick, first round pick, their game is more refined.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when they're like, hey, first round pick out of college, we're sending them right to high A or double A. It's because that high round pick, when they look at it goes, your skill set is so refined, we don't need to see you at the lower levels. But if you start at the lower levels and you rake, you prove to us that you were refined enough and you're going to move on. So like some of the Orioles picks this year, when they were raking out the gate, yeah, they went there to get their feet wet.
Yeah.
And then it was obvious being like, yeah, your game's refined way ahead of where some of these other guys are. Talent-wise, though, talent's there. So there was a guy in the complex league now, but it's called the Gulf Coast, the GCL. Shout out all the GCLers that have gone through that. If you find out if you love baseball when you play it, you practice all damn morning, and then you go out and play a game at noon in the sun, in the humidity, with zero fans. Actually, the fans are your teammates that are charting, and maybe you'll have a couple parents that come down.
Well, I was just going to say, does it also – do you think, like, because obviously, like, you've talked about some of the biggest – I don't want to say reality checks, but sort of reality check for some of these guys when they get from one of, like, let's say a Tennessee to the minors is like the amenities. Like Tennessee, one, you're only going on the road every so often. I'm sure you're staying in nice hotels, whereas that it's the grind of the minor leagues. And I wonder if that also has to do with production, because these guys are, they're getting a full 8 hours of sleep. They're waking up, they're playing their, Saturday 4 p.m. game in front of, like you said, 10, 15,000 people. And now suddenly 2 months later, they're in the middle of Nebraska, in this small town. They've got in at 4 a.m. Now all of a sudden it's noon and they got to play a full 9 innings. Like, I feel like also the mental side is what gets you ready, the travel and everything for eventually the majors, not just, the skill level. It's everything that goes into the minors.
Oh yeah. In the big leagues though, it's nice.
I'm sure.
It's nice. And that's why a lot of guys, when they get to the big leagues, they're sitting there, and that's, I got to experience it as a kid, just being around, and I wish I got there. Right. But you understand when they get there, you go, man, I am grateful for my journey, but I don't want to go back, because it is, You get the amenities and the luxuries of that life, but the game's the hardest it possibly can be. The minor leagues too, you can be one of the top college players. Like, I want to emphasize this. You can be one of the top college players and go and dominate in college and go to pro ball, and your talent does not match up as well. I was a teammate, won't name him. It was a lefty. Love the dude. He maybe touched low 90s, but mainly high 80s lefty. He could get anybody he wanted out in college. Played in the Pac-12 at the time, back then. Knew how to get guys out. Pro ball, most guys that you'd face is like, all right, minimum you're seeing 92, 93. Minimum. Then it's like, hey, here's 97.
Yeah.
Here's 100. And then you were in pro ball in the GCL. I had dudes that were throwing 100. They didn't know where it was going.
Yeah.
And that's the part in college. Here's one thing that stuck with me. My freshman year at South Carolina, and I don't blame the coach for this. At the time it was frustrating. But they look for guys that can help them win right now. The big schools can attract players that have talent and are ready to play right now. And that combination of extreme talent at a big school can create a lot of perks and a lot of opportunity and a lot of development. But if you aren't refined, they're going to put someone else in there that they think can win the game right now. Yeah. And this was a conversation that I had with a coach was, Ryan, I believe on the team you have top 5 talent on our team, just talent alone, but you're really raw right now, which I agree. Dude, I couldn't hit freaking anything in fall. I was a mess. I was a puddle. Different reason for a puddle. Mentally wasn't there. I physically wasn't strong enough. But they would take the players that if they were physically ready and they were younger, they'd go out and play. Nowadays, the biggest thing for colleges is that with the NIL, and it's not like it's a ton, by the way, it's not like football and basketball NIL, it's getting better. Yeah. But they'll sit there and they can offer a kid of like Slater DeBrun got drafted by the O's here.
I was just going to bring that up, yes.
Slater, you know what they had to do? Slater, they said, hey, whatever is NIL to go to Vandy, for him to commit to Vandy, they gave him X amount. Say, hey, we're gonna give you this and you're gonna play. And he was physically gifted. But you know what also happened? He got drafted and he's saying, Vandy's giving me this. If you want me to come play, make it worth my while.
Yeah.
And so he did. So that's the commitment behind a player is what keeps them there. But there's a reason why so many players throughout the country come from schools that aren't as highly ranked. It's because that they go to a place and they actually develop. But the big schools, if you're good and you play well at a big school, you get rewarded. So we could talk about all of it for so many times. And Joe, I see that when I was there was 35 guys you could have on the roster, I believe, and they only had 27 scholarships. That you had to split between 35 guys in when I was in South Carolina. That was the amount. The NIL money, I don't know what it means for all the schools now. Yeah. But we'll see. But anyway, I know we got on the tangent of it, but college baseball.
It was just like it was a good
organic.
Just something that as we were talking
about.
Cuff. Just yeah, exactly.
I do think it is a great conversation because I think there is the possibility of with NIL and everything of, obviously we've seen things change over the years. And I think, with Vitelli, Vitelli is going to kind of maybe speed up the process of seeing, what guys can do if they, at least coaching, can you jump from you're a bench coach in college to now maybe, I'm not saying majors, but maybe even, okay, now you're getting a chance to be a bench coach in AAA. Mm-hmm. Maybe there are more routes now for good top end coaches to find their way to the highest levels.
Right. Yeah. I mean, then that is going to be a big talking point because I know a lot of former teammates that have got involved in coaching. Not that they had an aspiration to be a big league manager. Some of them, though, want to be a big league coach on a coaching staff. And what was the plan of action? You had to go through the minor league system, work your way up. Pat Murphy, manager of the Brewers, they had an investigation that he resigned from Arizona State back in 2009 or 10. And then what did he do? He still got into pro ball. And here he is as a manager. But that was a guy that was a college coach, but he didn't go from college straight to being a big league manager. He still went through the process. Yeah. And Milwaukee Brewers, had a hell of a year.
Pretty happy with it.
And they ran into the Monstars. But for the Orioles fans, you're just hoping whoever the next manager, whoever that's going to be, that is going to be the guy that can help take this team to the next level. And I think the biggest question has become, when are the Orioles going to make a decision, Brad? I think we are currently, as we record this, it is October 23rd. And spring training, which is crazy to think about this, is less than 4 months away.
Yeah.
February is 3 months and change away. Pitchers and catchers will report. I do believe that the Orioles will have a decision that has to be made here within this next week or two. And I do think, as much as people don't want to hear it, I think Tony Manzolino is going to have a legitimate opportunity.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either.
So the other options that we're going through, I firmly believe Albert Pujols is not going to be a candidate for this team. I don't think that was in the cards. It seemed that it became so out of left field. But I do think it's about Albert is expressing interest that he wants to manage in the future.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him. Then we're looking at two options. You get the up-and-comer, or you go with the veteran type. And the newest veteran manager that was rumored was former Seattle Mariners manager Scott Survey, who was fired last year during the season after the Mariners had a huge lead in the division, got a rough spell. Astros took the lead, never looked back, and Scott was fired. I think he's a good baseball guy. I know that's probably not a name that fans are interested in. So if we're going through the list of who we have heard from, right, that's been reported.
Yeah.
So if you're saying Pujols, take that out, in my
Survey.
opinion. Survey, Luis Rojas.
And Tony Manzolino. And then every rumor mill, every, article, everything is connected Flaherty in Baltimore. I've not seen anything that gives the notion that they have contacted him. So that's where I everywhere you go, like I've even seen Flaherty's the odds-on favorite to be the man. I don't know where that is. I've not seen anything that has been like, hey, they're interviewing him, they've been in contact, but I just see they are always connected. So I would put Flaherty in there in that, like, people have connected, but we haven't seen anything official come from that connection.
So we can't then put that into the account because
that's just he said, she said.
Yep, it hasn't been linked. They said there's, there could be, but no bones to that.
Yeah.
So with what we have right now, if we're looking at these options, this is my honest opinion of what's going to happen. We're down to two names. Unless something else comes up, and the two names are Scott Survey and Tony Manzolino. And I can tell right now, is in this room looking, it got quiet.
Really quiet.
Got really quiet in here because I can tell you don't like either idea over there.
Just
Brad.
not a fan.
Nope,
I'm not a fan of. Look, Tony Manzolino did a good job of just not imploding the team last year after Hyde came in, but he was a 500. The team was 500 after Brandon Hyde got let go. I would be excited about Tony Manzolino if we saw like some sort of momentum shift, but it just felt like the team still remained stale after he took over. And I would love to just kind of see a little bit more of a more experienced manager in there that had some philosophical changes, differences that brought in analytics and kind of just the real feel of the game. I just didn't get that vibe from Tony. And maybe I'm not making a fair assessment, but like I'm just from my naked, untrained eye and what I saw throughout the season after Brandon Hyde got let go and Tony Manzolino took over, just didn't do it for me.
So right here, Kieran, you're saying not wowed with either option, considering the names who are being tossed around. I think that's a fair assessment, but I also want to point this out. The sexy name, the bold, like the one that you want that fires you up, doesn't necessarily mean that actually turns out to be the option that takes you to the promised land. It's not. But I do understand, and this is going back to why we talked about Tony Vitello, when we're going to pressure, the Orioles will be under tremendous pressure in 2026.
Which makes my argument even clearer as far as like not being my point even clearer about not being excited about this.
Right. But then the manager that comes in, if they don't reach that exact expectation, so that's why I'm saying an up-and-comer, if you're an up-and-coming manager and it's not Tony Manzolino, why would, unless you had firm belief that you are the missing piece, I would be hesitant to take the job because of that exact reason. So like Ryan Flaherty, I have no idea. Ryan Flaherty might just say, hey, you know what? I like Chicago. I'm going to wait another year.
Yeah.
Or maybe I like San Diego. Who knows? But he might just say, hey, I'm chilling. But if you're Ryan Flaherty, you want to feel like you're going to an opportunity where you feel like you will not fail. And right now, I can't say that isn't going to be Baltimore, because I do think it's a very stressful situation. So for Tony Manzolino being here, you realize that he's taking a lot of brunt. He can take the people being pissed off. Players like him a lot. He has familiarity, which scares people, Brad, but also gives others comfort that he knows the group. And then there's Scott Survey, where, hey, he's led a team to the playoffs. The Mariners had success. I know everyone goes to specifically what happened in the hitting situation over there with the Mariners, which isn't directly correlated to the manager.
I think this is where I'm like, and yes, I don't think he's always had the talent in Seattle, but he's managed 1,322 games. He has 680 wins, 642 losses. So he's above 500. Is this? I'll put it this way: I would rather. Part of me says I'd rather have Survey than Manzo, just because I've been pushing for a fresh voice this entire time. And once again, just to say it, I think Manzo is going to be a great manager one day. I just think for this situation, the Orioles need a new voice. I think if this was something where Manzo wasn't with the Orioles last year, if he was the bench coach of, let's just replace him with Flaherty. If he was the bench coach for the Cubs and it was like, oh, they're interviewing Tony Manzolino, I think people would be like, ooh, up-and-coming manager, with the Cubs who has playoff, it would be that thing. I just think right now the Orioles need a new message and just maybe a new voice. I've said before, I think honestly the biggest pushback for me about keeping Tony Manzolino is my fear that it turns into we're running this back, with the same coaching staff, which I don't think you can run back. I mean, I've seen former players now talking about it online and interviews on different shows. I think the one was on Foul Territory about how the whole multiple hitting coaches to make cooks in the kitchen is just like this weird new epidemic in baseball. It's like, why are we doing this? And Ryan, we've talked about it a little bit. I just, me personally, I would like, keep a few guys, but if I want a new voice in there. I want a new staff. I want to see what we can change up, because last year did not go well. And I just don't think being like, oh, Manzo put it together a little bit. And I think he did a really good job for the cards he was dealt. But like I said a few weeks ago, I don't know if Manzo started from game one, if this team still, doesn't, makes the playoffs. I don't know if he made that big of a difference. So we'll see. My biggest fear is just them running it back with the exact same staff.
And that is a lot of people's fear. It's the fear of the same thing happening. And Kieran's question, or I saw right here, would there be more pressure on the manager or on Elias? If the team struggles, yeah, more pressure will be on Elias for the hire. But I'm saying, as a manager going into the situation and you're trying to prove yourself that you deserve to be a manager in the big leagues, that's a daunting task. So when I look at this, Scott Survey and Tony Manzolino, probably one of these two guys, it's a very good chance that one of them is going to be your manager. Because if nothing else comes out, because I think both of those fit the profile. Tony's been around for a while and experience with the team. Scott Survey has been around and is an experienced guy that I think is a little bit more, has his own way about him as a coach and manager. And for them, like, Manzo, like, this is his chance to prove. And this is the best chance for him as a manager.
Mhm.
Scott Survey, it's like, he might not get another opportunity if the job was offered to him, right? So this is, either way, we're going to find out a lot here with the Baltimore Orioles. But one thing's,
I was
one
just going to
thing's
say,
concerned- yeah.
like, is this also, I think the bigger question would be like, okay, if we bring in Manzolino, is there going to be philosophical changes too? Like, or the heavy analytics that we saw kind of plague the team with like the excessive platooning and everything else, like that has to change too. And so like if Tony Manzolino comes in and has a little bit more autonomy, a little bit more free reign in that regard, I could probably get behind that a little bit. But like to your point, if it all stays the same,
It's
Tony Manzolino's back in there, it's the same shit every day. And then we have this window of extremely good talent that I feel like just gets wasted. And then there's more frustration among the fans. And a lot of people get pissed off.
Yeah, and you know what I think would be the biggest difference maker, I told you, is how they play next year, the philosophy of which they play, and if they can be healthy. But quite frankly, they make a big trade or big move this offseason, that will change a lot of people's feelings very quickly. If they trade for, I don't see anyone on the market like this, but when they made a trade for Corbin Burns,
Fred
the
Peralta,
level
run it back.
of excitement was off the charts.
I
And-
genuinely think they could trade for Fred Peralta. I feel like you've done business with the Brewers.
I was
literally,
just going to say, yeah.
I think that is a very similar. The Brewers clearly do not think they can pay him. The price won't be as high. I could see that happening.
The organization could afford it.
Yeah. I also will say when I just looked up Flaherty Orioles, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to get Ryan Flaherty news. The top one is this World Series hero should be the top of the Orioles wish list. And it was Jack Flaherty. And I was like, please don't do this again. We've already tried the Jack Flaherty save the rotation.
Mhm.
But I agree. I think the Orioles, like, that's what's frustrating and why I'm very
This
like,
feels like same old shit, different day.
yeah, like I just if they made a move for some top end guy, I just feel like you can, this offseason, the Orioles have this potential to get so much momentum with the names available. So many teams kind of in limbo of what's going to happen. It just feel like, we'll see what the Yankees do. Maybe they go get Kyle Tucker. We see what happens with the Blue Jays in their offseason. Obviously
That's the other thing.
Red
Like, it's
Sox,
not like the division's getting any easier.
yeah.
So
like
it's the moves this offseason. So regardless, I really don't think it matters to me which manager. I mean, obviously it matters. Let me take that back. It matters the manager that's going to lead the ball club. But I think the bigger telling sign is going to be is what this construction of a roster is going to look like, that who you bring in or who's added, and then how do you play then with that group? And that is going to be the telltale for the Baltimore Orioles going into next year, is whether it's Scott Survey, Tony Manzolino, or somebody else that we just don't know. If the Orioles have some new toys that come in and they build off of the roster that they have, excitement and belief is going to be there for the team. But regardless, you're going to have to play better. The Toronto Blue Jays, the reason why they're in the World Series, most comeback wins in baseball this past year. Also, top batting average in baseball on top of that. They were not a top pitching staff on the year. There was a lot of other metrics that didn't have them in the top 10, but they were good in situations. They knew how to come back. They were always in the fight. And they went from being considered one of the worst teams, not only in the American League East, but the American League, to going on and being the team that is 4 wins away, even though it's an uphill battle, but they are 4 wins away from winning the World Series. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. Do this live every Monday and Thursday right here in studio. And we're thinking about expanding that content. We're right around, maybe it's 4:30 or 5. We're trying to find the sweet spot.
Yep,
Brad. So we appreciate that. And we appreciate our chat here. And what about the GM? Hey, don't you worry about the GM, because I don't think that's going to be on the cards here for the Orioles this offseason.
no.
But for our channel members right there, we see you in the comments. I see the love on Facebook and appreciate you guys that are watching on X as well. If you want to be a channel member to join in on these channel member chats, Brad, all you got to do is click that join button, right?
Yep. Click the join button next to subscribe.
That seems pretty easy.
Now you can do it on iPhones now too.
Yeah, we did learn that. You can just do it right on your iPhone. When I move, you move, Zach.
Just like that.
Just like that. Maybe we should move into a little bit of a foosball conversation. We haven't really talked about the Ravens as much. For a bye week coming off, it actually hasn't been crazy.
I have Carl Lawson, Lamar's back. Yeah, actually, the injury report today looks awesome. A lot of full participants. Lamar was the only person limited. DeAndre Hopkins did not participate, I believe, illness. So we're getting word that Pat Ricard's coming back. People look healthy. It's now or never. Like, let's call it what it is. You're healthy. You got Lamar seemingly back. The Ravens obviously are not going to state whether he will play or not until they absolutely have to for strategic reasons, whether you like it or not. So at this weekend versus the Bears, this is not a bad Bears team. This is a Bears team that can win. And this is up to the defense. This is up to the offense to just find a way. It does not have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be a statement. I would rather win 9-8 than them be like, oh, Lamar's back. We scored 40 and we lost 41-40. Like it can be ugly. Just find a way to win. They're getting healthy. They make the addition of Carl Lawson, who it would be hard for me to see him play this week. I feel like that's a very, very quick turnaround, but probably against Miami next Thursday. Man, these are two literally within the next week. We're going to find out a lot about this Ravens team, because in 8 days we could be waking up next Friday and the Ravens are 3-5 and suddenly there's a little life in Baltimore, but we could also wake up on Monday morning at 1-6 and everyone knows the season's over.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Huge game. Not to put pressure, but as Kyle Hamilton says, it's a playoff game from here on out. Hasn't been the kindest to the Ravens recently, so I don't know if that's the best.
Should we ask our man behind the curtain?
Oyster Shucker? Is
Yeah.
it Kevin? Kevin, is he there?
No way.
Hello, is my mic working?
Yeah, it is.
Your good mic is not working.
You're correct. Why is that the case?
Yeah, just ask the producer.
It's plugged into my my cam link, so that would explain. All right,
Yeah.
1 second.
Sound like you're in a tin can.
All right, here. How about now?
Hey,
That's
much
better. That's better. That's it. Kevin. So the Ravens. It's
Yes.
the Ravens. I don't know if I just saw this video where people think that the Bears were trolling the Ravens for like their video had them shooting hoops and playing ping pong.
Yeah.
And, not fully related, but it's interesting because that was a story that was just brought up where the coaches, what?
Ping pong table gate?
Yeah,
So
ping
crazy.
pong table
So
game.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's been a storyline this past week was, oh my goodness, all of the games are out of the clubhouse. Oh, wait a minute. The coaches, it's a mutiny. The players don't like it. Well, actually, no, the veteran players decided they wanted to take it out.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, Lamar's not practicing, but he is.
Yeah.
So I guess the NFL is the best reality TV show, Kev, at times, but we'll just say we know what happens if they lose. A lot of people are going to not handle this well.
This is a tweet from 2020. Very true. For those listening at home, it says life is
Wow.
a never-ending succession of NFL teams adding ping pong tables with stories about how they're finally coming together as a family and enjoying each other's company, and NFL teams removing ping pong tables with stories about how they're finally taking football seriously.
And that was 5 years
That was
ago.
5 years.
And
Life is a full circle.
Still rings true to this day.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing, Kev, is if we go to Sunday and the Ravens win this game, they got to win first. They got to win first. And Chicago, they've strung together some wins. They've won some games. They're running the football better, Brad, your boy, Caleb will be under center for the Bears.
Also still going to suck.
Well,
Everybody's talking about the Roquan Smith revenge game. I think this is Brad's Super Bowl in terms of Caleb Williams, and he just needs to stink it up here against the Ravens, and then Brad can take the victory lap of the century.
Especially if it's against the worst Ravens defense of all time.
Right.
I got a
Exactly.
sneaky feeling here, Kev. I think this defense comes out humming. I think the Ravens, if Lamar plays, which I think you feel like we feel, Lamar should be playing. It feels like he's going to play.
I would think so.
Is Caleb Williams' mom going to be there?
Probably.
Okay. If she's in the front row, it's going to be a good game.
Oh, goodness, Brad. I swear, Caleb's going to throw 4 tutties.
You say that. Look, I've been saying this before he got drafted about all his hype.
That is true.
And he hasn't. Oh, you're going to jinx him. No, he hasn't done shit. Nothing.
Caleb's going to have a Caleb 5, and after the 5th touchdown pass, he's just going to point up to Brad.
Right at Brad.
That's fine.
Right at Brad.
Ravens are still going to win.
So
Yeah,
Caleb.
Oh, you mean Caleb 5 interceptions? Is that what you're talking about?
Well,
Yeah.
right now he's got 3 on the year. And
What's his incompletion rate?
his completion percentage on the season is around 61%.
Meh. It's mid.
Well, so Kevin, Lamar Jackson's going to play.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope and assume so. Nothing's guaranteed, but I'm so excited for the best bets of the week here because it's the first week I can put hopefully Patrick Ricard anytime touchdown. We're doing that the whole rest of the season.
Wow.
And whatever
Oh,
Brad's is going to be Caleb Williams lower on everything.
Under.
Betting the under.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, Kev, the other part with this, Ravens win, they have to win. But what's really interesting is if Pittsburgh were to fall to Green Bay, and Green Bay's had a lot of trouble, I believe, in Pittsburgh, if I was seeing that correctly. Ravens win, Pittsburgh loses. 2-game difference, and then the Ravens got the Dolphins. They play the Vikings. They got 2 meetings against the Steelers and the Bengals. They got the Jets before that too. I mean, and the Jets have a couple problems up there in New York right now, Kev. So I mean, realistically, it's the opportunities there. I know it's crazy to think 1-5 is such an uphill battle, but there's a path.
Yeah. I will say this. Look, Caleb Williams slander aside, if he's thrown 9 touchdowns all year to the 3 interceptions. So it's not a great ratio. QBR is 52.2. The defense should feast on this. He's only had 1,300 passing yards on the season. This game should be extremely winnable.
Yeah,
It should be winnable. Go ahead.
as long as you're pressuring him and forcing him into, bad decisions and bad throws. I mean, he'll probably make a couple of mistakes throughout the course of the game, but that's the name of the game, right? I mean, what the Bears do really well, you look at the stats for the Bears defense in particular, they're not a good defense. I mean, the thing that is carrying them is the turnovers. They have 16 turnovers in 6 games. They're the tops in the league in turnover percentage. But their defense are the second to worst rushing. They're worse than the Ravens in terms of rushing defense. They're 31st in the league, and they're 28th in passing defense in terms of yards per attempt. But it's been the turnover. So for the Ravens, they're all the way down at number 30 defensively in terms of they have just 3 turnovers. And if you want another crazy stat that is kind of ugly and it might want to cover your ears, the Ravens sack leader right now is Nnamdi Madubuike, who has not played since week 2. So they need guys to step up. Now, they did sign Carl Lawson. I don't expect him to play in this game because it's a pretty short turnaround from, being signed on Thursday afternoon to playing on Sunday. I mean, it's possible, but I think what they're going to do is they're going to try to play Trenton Simpson out on the outside for a majority of these snaps. Because they tried it. He did it at Clemson and was good at it.
Thank you.
That to me, I think is the move because you can't trust David Ojabo right now. Mike Green, unfortunately, hasn't had the starts of the season that you would have hoped. Kyle Van Noy, hopefully he can turn back the clock a little bit. But I think Trenton Simpson is going to be the guy here to, maybe it's in Zach's spirit of doing colleges for his bets. Clemson versus USC action. I have no correlation between the two. I just wanted to show that I knew where they went to school. So
Shout out. Yeah.
Also, Kevin, real fast, I've been seeing the Nnamdi Madubuike saddle. Nnamdi's tied for the most sacks with fellow IR guy Tavius Robinson.
Represent.
Not great that the top 2 guys.
Oh, that's not what you hope for.
But well, I mean, you have the Bears offense is just not good. So
I think the Bears are the only team this year that have scored 21
in every game.
21 in every game. So it's not pretty. Like their offense, when you've watched it, again, if you're a fantasy guy and you watch it, it's not pretty. They did start to run the football the last couple games, DeAndre Swift, but they beat the Commanders, which Commanders could have been a missed exchange away from winning that game. And instead, Bears go down and kick the field goal. But they ran the ball well, but they don't have a signature win right now, right? Their wins this year, they've been against the Raiders on a block kick.
The 21 points is not including just all offense, correct? That's including any defensive touchdowns?
Yeah, I mean, it's a team collectively. I'm not saying that their offense is the one that's humming, but they're the only team that has put up the points. To their defense's credit then, their defense has forced more turnovers as of recent. So if Lamar plays, Kevin, his MO is he takes care of the ball pretty well.
Yeah. That's what they're going to have to do. And, it's interesting because another advantage that the Ravens have here, it's weird to say this, but, Zach talked about the injury report. The Bears are kind of banged up right now on a lot of positions here. You have Cole Kmet and Tyreek Stevenson not practicing for the second straight day. You have a couple guys actually added to the injury report. Kyler Gordon, who would have to step up if Stevenson can't go. They're already without Jalen Johnson, who is an incredible player in that secondary. He was added with a groin and a calf injury. Tremaine Edmonds, their linebacker, who they brought in to replace Roquan after he was traded, he was limited. There was a new addition with an ankle injury. And you're also kind of wondering about guys. I'm finding out Grady Jarrett is on the Bears. So Grady Jarrett, he was limited to full. But then you also look at guys like DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift, who did not practice on Wednesday. They were upgraded to limited, but the Ravens have the rest advantage from the bye week. They're getting healthier. And I think that's a really big key here because the Bears, they've gone through physical games here. The Ravens got that week to reset and physically and mentally get back on track. I think that's a big advantage of people. I know they're talking about it, but I think I'm really talking about it because I think it's huge.
So maybe this isn't a bold take, but if I have my prediction for Sunday, I think this defense has their best performance by far of the season. I think that they come out and I'm not going to say dominate, but I thought the Rams, they played very well against the Rams. I thought they played very well defensively against the Rams.
100%.
It doesn't help when you turn the ball over a lot and
in
it
your
leads
own
to
territory.
Points. They got it. Like it's a big part of that, but 17, you allow 17 points in this game, and Lamar's playing, Ravens win this game.
Yes.
And I think that they can hold the Bears to below 21, break that streak this weekend. Hoping, man, because if not, Kevin, I pray for you, man. You're gonna have.
I was gonna say, Kev,
streak.
what are your assessment on the offensive line for the Ravens? Because that's obviously been a source of contention. One of the big reasons why the turnovers were caused in that Rams game was because they were able to get to quarterback. Now, granted, it wasn't Lamar Jackson, but we really don't want Lamar Jackson running around a ton, especially with coming back off that hamstring injury. So, what say you about that?
Yeah, I think that they need to make a change. And actually, Bill Smolka, who is over at Pressbox, he put out during the bye week the Ravens offensive line grades over at PFF. And I know that some people love PFF, other people hate PFF, but it's just for added context. Where through 6 games, right now, just from left to right, Ronnie Stanley 24th among tackles in PFF grade. Their ranks. Voorhees is 40th among guards. Tyler Linderbaum is 4th among centers, and that's impressive to me considering who he's been playing next to, because Daniel Falele is 45th among guards, and Roger Rosengarten is 38th among tackles. So, look, I know everybody's pointing the finger at Daniel Falele, and I think that is, the criticism is real there, and it should be happening, but it's not just Daniel Falele. Now, I thought Voorhees played better against the Rams. The grades back that up. The film backs it up, and everybody else is talking about that. But I think you owe it to Lamar Jackson to put the best 5 you can out there. And it just feels like the Ravens are, for lack of a better word, being pretty stubborn about this whole thing with the guys that they believe are their guys. Like these are their guys. And so in the offseason, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it goes with, it coincides with, obviously we saw Derrick Henry run for over 100 yards, but that was like by necessity against the Rams because the quarterback play was so abysmal. But I think it's an indictment on the offensive line as to why Derrick Henry had only been held to 50 yards or less after the
Mhm.
Bills game, and it's because of that offensive line. And so my question is, it's like now that Lamar's back, are we going to see that similar, Derrick Henry performance? Because he's not going to be running the ball 30 times. He's only going to be running it probably 15 to 17 times. And, Lamar's going to be running his ass off all over the place because the offensive line's so porous. What were you going to say, Zach?
I was going to say, I also think about, Ricard being back. I think that's a big plus to the run
For
game.
sure.
And then, Kevin, actually, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Obviously, you just talked about the Ravens being stubborn with the offensive line, and I think that is 1,000% fact. We've seen this throughout. When obviously just activated to the 53, Emory Jones, do you think that is somebody over the next few games? I don't think it's going to be this week. I don't think he's ready. But do you think so? Maybe after Miami, that's the move that should be made, is putting him somewhere?
Yeah, I would probably say so. Yeah, I think this week, no. Like, he just hasn't had enough time, right? But I think that he's someone that, he started as a freshman at LSU. He has the pedigree. I mean, he's been involved in a lot of big games over the course of his college career. And this is something that's been talked about. Like, there's a big difference between the NFL and college football. Like there just is. So there's going to be an adjustment period for that. But I think, what I would do personally for now, at least, is I would put Corey Bullock at guard for Falele. I'm fine with giving Voorhees an extra week because I did think he played better against the Rams. But at points during the season, Voorhees has been worse than Falele. So, you do need to kind of figure out who your guys are. But I think the thing is, like, the depth is being tested. And a big reason, I think, the loss of Patrick McCary is something that I think people aren't talking about as much. That was a guy that you could plug in at any 5 of those positions. He essentially was 5 offensive linemen in one. And so now you're not looking at a star, not a top 2 position guy at any position, but he was at least just solid for you wherever you plugged him in. And now you've lost that and you're kind of scrambling. I mean, Joe Noteboom has been terrible as a replacement for Ronnie in the passing game. And that's something else. I mean, for Ronnie, hopefully this bye week has helped him be able to get back to close to full health as possible. And to me, I think the big thing that I'm looking at is, I think the dream for me, I know I've talked about Kevin Zeitler here with you guys before, but I think if you were to move Emory Jones over to left guard and trade for Zeitler and throw him at right, I mean, let's just talk dream crazy scenarios here. Like, you have a projected 5 fifth-round picks this year. You don't need to draft 5 guys in the 5th round this upcoming draft. Throw a couple of them at Tennessee, see if they'll take a couple of those for Kevin Zeitler. I think that's the move I would make.
Yeah, I mean, if they're worried about protecting Cam Ward and his psyche, well, they can worry about protecting Cam Ward and his psyche with a new head coach in 2026 and a new line. Because right now, regardless, it's been ugly. Whoever's been out there, it's not a good vibe down there in Tennessee. So Kevin Zeitler, I should say, come on back to Baltimore.
Hey, I'll protect Lamar if they want me to. I probably won't be very good at it, but they throw me $1 million, I'll go out there.
I would love to watch it, but a lot of people would love to watch
it
too. But it's spooky season. I think that would terrify people more than probably anything. Kev, do you have a favorite Halloween scary movie, Kev?
Oh, that's a good question, actually.
Scary?
Huh?
No, it could be a Halloween movie. Yeah, Halloween movie. It doesn't have to be scary. What's your favorite scary movie?
Scary movie. I'm not a huge scary movie guy. I don't like I'm fine with like gore. I just don't like jump scares.
So is like Hocus Pocus a scary movie for you?
No, but that was going to be mine.
No, but I haven't seen that. So.
Hocus Pocus is great.
Fantastic movie.
Something my family watched a little bit was Coraline, which isn't a scary movie, but it's like that like family Disney Halloween theme.
Yeah.
Type thing. So that's one. Scary movie. The Purge, maybe. Like,
is that a Halloween movie?
It's not a Halloween movie.
Yeah, I know The Purge. It's where all rules don't like.
You have some scary movie.
Yeah, the government's like, crime's legal for
or like maybe Nightmare on Elm Street. Like,
meh.
I don't know. There was one with there was one with Jennifer Lawrence. It was like the house on the corner of 13th something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe that one.
Interesting.
But I'm not usually a big scary movie guy.
I don't think I've watched a scary movie since I turned 30.
Interesting.
That was a long time ago.
I actually just watched Sinister this past weekend and scared the absolute shit out of me.
Yeah, why do that to yourself?
And then that,
I
yes.
actually, I know why you did it. You did it for love, and that's bullshit. You know, like,
Hey, love is love.
I understand that.
Love is love.
If you love somebody, you wouldn't scare the hell out of them.
Well,
Actually, I take that back
you can go-
because prank scaring is funny as shit. But forcing somebody to watch a scary movie.
you're definitely
I'd-
one of
I'd have
those
turned-
prank.
I'd have- Me?
You-
Oh yeah.
You would love to prank scare someone, but if someone
Yes.
did it to you, you would.
Oh no, I would laugh.
But you'd also be scared shitless.
Yes, but then I'll be like, "You motherfucker." Yes.
Well, that was that. So my friend wanted to watch it with me, and I said, "Look,
See.
I like don't like jump scares. Like, no,
Taking me to my childhood fear.
yeah,
Oh, that-
literally."
My dad, God rest his soul, had me watch it, like the original It.
Oh,
I was like 4. From that point on, clowns were not a thing in my life. Anytime we went to the circus, anytime I saw a clown, it was like I pissed my pants. Essentially, just thanks, Dad.
that's a tough one to watch as a kid.
Yeah.
When I was 5, my
I was like,
cousin,
"What were you thinking?"
yeah,
what
when I was 5, my cousin showed my brother and I Aliens vs Predators, and
That's not really scary to me.
Well, as
I
a
mean,
kid, but as a kid though,
yeah, you see like the aliens coming out of like the stomachs and stuff. You're just like,
Yeah.
man.
you're wondering like, what if that happens to me? You know, like, and
Yeah.
but then you don't understand as a kid that like that's not going to happen to you. But
Yeah.
you don't know.
yeah, you don't know what
You don't
reality
know.
reality versus
Right.
fantasy is. Yeah, back then.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen.
It is because like I don't know what age, maybe it's a maturity thing, but like when I was 9, I was watching like Jurassic Park and I loved it.
Oh yeah, because dinosaurs,
But
man.
yeah, dinosaurs or like
Dinosaur DNA.
wasn't really scared of Jaws, but for whatever reason, man, like it was like I think it's just on another level of scary anyway. But yeah, I was and I was 4,
What about like The Exorcist,
like the original Exorcist.
or like all of like, or any of those movies? Like, I'm not a fan of any of those. I like more of the thriller than like
Yeah.
the true scary.
Yeah.
You know,
like Constantine.
like things
Like
that
that's
could,
an exorcism kind of movie, but like it's this Keanu Reeves coming in and kicking everybody's ass. Like I'm about that.
yeah. I mean, that's one that Ollie. I don't know what he's doing. underneath
Substance
me.
is
He's
good.
scared. He's scared of talking about scary movies.
I say people.
I've never seen Substance.
It's an interesting concept.
You know what? Next week we need to talk about what's one of the most ridiculous, scary movie scenes. And we mentioned the commercial last time. I'm like, why don't you get in the running car?
Yeah.
You crazy? Like, what are movies like that?
The dumbest movie.
Like Friday, like Friday the 13th has those moments.
Well.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Scream for me is like
has those
it
moments.
has those moments for sure.
Exactly. I want to like go and find the exact scenes when you're sitting there and you're like, this could have been avoided
Yeah.
by not going.
Yeah.
Or just leaving. Oh, wow. What's that noise? Hello?
And turn the goddamn lights on.
Anybody home?
Why is
Mom?
it, why is it every
Mary?
scary movie they walk into this house that they heard a weird noise in and they don't turn one light on. They're just walking around in the
That
dark.
is my biggest thing that I will literally yell at the television. I'm like, turn a light on. They're like, what was that downstairs? With the flashlight. I'm like, the power didn't go out. It's just nighttime. The power didn't go out. Just turn on the light.
You see a figure run across. Oh, what's that? Well, actually, how you can see that?
Yeah.
Just maybe install the clapper. I don't know, and
Yeah.
then you're good. Or just go to the light switch. Do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and
go back
they're,
to the lights on. I don't know.
That's something.
well, they're moving. They're doing like a slow flashlight turn, and the scary thing comes across, and they move it, and then they go back, and it's gone, and you're like, you just got to get out of there. You just got to.
No, okay, I'm trying to think which one pisses me off more than anything. Okay, I'm ready for this. What pisses me off more than anything is when they sit there, they turn the light on, they turn it off, and something's there. And then they turn the light back on, and then they turn it off again, and something gets closer. And I'm like, stop turning it off and on. It's clearly getting closer. Like, why are we turning the light off?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
It's like, wait, maybe if I do it a 4th time, the thing will just go away. It's like, just turn the light
Yeah.
on and leave the house.
Or if like there's something outside and they're like, oh, I wonder what that is. I'm
Let me
gonna
go check
outside.
it. They're
Like,
always in a forest.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Let me go check the woods
Stay
real
in the
fast.
house.
Yeah, that's
Are you the cops?
Yeah,
Who
right.
needs to check the woods?
Yeah.
Call someone.
yeah, that's do we want to play a game of ranking the five of us and who would survive in a scary movie the longest?
Oh, Kevin's out.
No, come on.
I don't know, like sneaky. If we're adding
Well,
Rocco,
actually, you know
if
what?
we add Rocco,
Rocco's out.
I think
Oh,
Rocco's done.
Yeah.
Rocco
Rocco's-
would be like, oh, what's going on there?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Rocco forget to
I was just
turn his
about to
ringer
say
off.
Rocco's the dumb one of the group, and I mean that common sense wise, like he's just the dumb one. For sure he would be the one that doesn't turn the lights on.
He would also be the one where he'd be like, we're all hiding someone. We're like, it's here. And he's like, yeah. Hey, what's up, dude? It's like, you taking a phone call right here? And he's like, dude, I just had to check something. real
He's not
fast."
here to defend himself, but who cares?
I think at the bottom of the list would be Rocco. Like I really
it.
do.
And then it's Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
Kevin could hide.
Kevin.
That
has
is true.
been-
That is true.
Like for me, my one downfall would either be if I talk too loudly, breathe too loudly, or I'm just too tall. Like those are my
Yeah.
those are my weaknesses. Everything else of the group, I feel confident that, like, you know what?
Oh yeah, you're outrunning all of us.
Yeah, and if if I get a bat or anything,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? I'm going right at it. I might die.
Well, so
Also,
here's the thing. Are we fighting some demonic thing? Because I feel like if it's just like a person scary movie, the five of us, we can create a plan to go on the attack. If it's
sure.
like a demon,
Yeah.
we're done.
We
We're-
send
none
Rocco.
of us have
We
a
send
chance.
Rocco out as bait, and then we just
Yo,
do our
Rocco,
thing.
he said he could outbench you. Where is he?
He needs to come in here and present his case.
I was thinking of
Well, that's his own fault that he's not.
yeah.
there.
The one thing I was thinking of was one that like actually scared me when I was younger. I thought of it was the Blair Witch Project. I don't know if you guys ever saw that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So it's because it's based off of using a camcorder, right? Like video,
Oh yeah. It was like
and
an extremely low budget.
low budget, and you go like
And
it's
it was
supposed to be
filmed in Maryland.
filmed in so here's my point. Filmed in Maryland.
Yeah.
Out in the woods, and like, oh, there's an evil spirit. And first off, why go out there in general? I know like there's the plot and the theme. I don't want to get into all of that, but in general, if you want to watch it, it's in the woods in Maryland. So for me growing up, grew out in the valley, right? So I remember being at my friend's house. We watched this movie, just him and I. And then we walk outside to like, get some water. Like he's got a pool out there. We're just kind of walking around. And then we just stare out because we hear a noise. And his house is just surrounded by woods.
Yeah.
Just acres and acres and acres of woods. And I hear a strange noise.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sitting there. I'm frozen for a second. He doesn't say a word. I don't say a word. And I said, two things. I'm either going right back inside or I'm going to get in my car and go home. And actually, I think we went inside. I went upstairs and locked the door of the room that I was sleeping.
The funny part is that it was shot at Seneca Creek, Montgomery County. So it's not even really like that scary of a woods. They just made it look like that.
Yeah.
And to your point, like at your age, I mean, I think I was 14, 15 when that movie came out. Something like so did you watch it when it first came out or
No, it was a little bit. I was more like 10 or 12. 12, man.
Okay.
I was in middle school, so maybe 13.
Okay.
Teenager.
Okay.
I thought I could handle this.
Yeah.
But like that's real. Like it was not that the whole thing's real, but like it's in the woods. It was recognizable. I will say, Kieran, The Ring used to scare the crap out of
The
me.
Ring was a scary.
I remember anytime there was a TV and it was nighttime and it was blank, I always feared that I was gonna wake up and that thing was just on and there was a circle and then Kevin was climbing out of it.
What was that scary ass movie with Halle Berry in it? Do you guys know?
Oh, yes, like Gothica or something.
That scared the piss out of me.
Yeah, watch that too.
That was one of the last scary movies I saw.
Scary Movie 3 made the Ring funnier for me, but initially, The Ring, 7 days. I had someone prank call me with that too. Brutal. Talk about a prank scare. That sucked, dude.
Oh God.
That scared the absolute crap out of me,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I already have trouble sleeping. Scared the absolute hell out of me. So, yeah, real life things, clowns as kids,
Yeah.
you name it, causes problems here at the Ryan Ripken Show.
Did your parents ever scare shit out of you like that? Just like the prank scare you?
You know, I actually got scared, and it wasn't because of a prank scare. It's just being young and just being scared of different objects. My dad dressed up as Batman in a full suit, and it scared the absolute shit out of me.
Is there a picture?
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I screamed.
well,
I was
how-
2
how
or
old?
3. It was my birthday.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
I-
Because Batman's like not exactly.
But he was in the full like rubber suit.
Yeah.
I'm Batman. And then like I ran to my toy castle. I ran inside of it. And that was like one of my earliest memories I actually have is just getting scared by my father.
Wow. What a way to start your life.
I could see.
Like,
the
where
ca-
does it start for me?
I was
Like,
gonna
oh.
say I could see Ryan on the couch with his therapist, just being like, "Yeah." It all
At
started
3
when
years
that
old.
dad dressed up as Batman.
Thing is, I love Batman. Like that's why they did it. I love Batman.
I
but,
know,
like,
I know.
Real life Batman. My dad had to take the mask off, and I was like, still like, I recognize you, but I don't trust you. You know?
Oh my God, he looks just like my dad.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was tough.
Your dad should have just been like, "No, I'm Bruce Wayne." Really? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been so good.
I do remember him
man.
not having really any hair then. So like that aligned. So
Yeah.
you know, other than that, yeah, that and then the alarm going off a lot. That could be for a different time. It all started. Yeah. We'll have another episode where I'll just be leaning back like this. I could tell my stories back in my day.
yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh good kids. Good kids. Well, I think we're getting close to wrapping up. I'm trying to see. Oh, Jeepers Keepers. Is it Jeepers Creepers?
Jeepers Creepers.
Joe.
I heard that was scary as shit. I never seen it.
Creepers, Joe. Saw, by the way, I liked when they made fun of it with Dr. Phil.
Yeah,
Your feelings.
that was Scary Movie 3, right?
I think it was 4.
4.
And Shaq.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get all that, and we'll get some. We'll get some of our Halloween costumes. Maybe we have one on next Thursday, because Halloween's then.
Oh, you already know what I'm pulling up
I got one
on,
picked
on the
out.
studio with.
I'm trying
on
to see
this-
if I can pull it off.
I got to find. There's an old costume that I never wore out, but I took a picture of it, and I'm wondering if I actually find that and wear that.
I will be the toucan mask will be making its return on Thursday.
Hell yeah.
Oh goodness.
I don't know. Hopefully, it doesn't hit the camera. That would be a problem.
Yeah. Well.
The beak is pretty long, so I
Yeah.
just saying.
No, known for a big beak, Kev. Known for a big beak. You're a good kid. Oh, right. All right. I think we've hit our quota for today.
Yep.
We hit our quota for today. We're wrapping this up. We appreciate you guys, though.
Do we
If you
need
did it,
best
Joe.
bet? Do we need Hollow Casino?
Gosh, you're right. We got so.
What college do we have today?
Well, Kevin, before we get to the college, it is Thursday night football. We got Vikings, Chargers. I think that's where Zach's
Yep.
going here. So
Yep.
why don't we take a quick trip up to our friends up at Hollywood Casino in West Virginia. Really good, Kevin. Really
Thank
good.
you, thank you.
Zach, you have been undefeated since you've made the college
Yeah.
picture.
Undefeated, 5-0
What do we got?
with college photos. So tonight, I actually love tonight's game. I think it's gonna be a really fun game. And I mean, it's pretty simple. Wrong one. Pretty simple tonight.
Oh,
We're going
Wow.
It is over 5.5 receptions. He's been targeted at least 10 times. Every game with Carson Wentz. Just get to 6. I feel like they need to win this ball game. And in order to do that, you got to rely on your best player. Feed him the rock. Justin Jefferson over 5.5 receptions. Cash it. Let's do it. LSU's best.
Cash. That LSU team,
I love
by
it.
the way.
Is that what is real fast? Is LSU or Ohio State wide receiver you?
Still, I think it's Ohio State.
I don't know about that one, Jim.
So Chase and Jefferson might be the two best in
Brian
the league.
Thomas Jr.
Is Brian Thomas better than? Would you take Brian Thomas over Emeka Egbuka?
Well, so Abuka now makes.
What about
it more
Jackson
interesting.
Smith?
Ooh.
That's a really hard question.
Probably up until last year, it was LSU. You might make a point for Ohio State.
Garrett Wilson.
I feel like Garrett Wilson's in a horrible situation.
Okay, but
so I
what?
can't-
But he's still talented.
What other wide receivers outside of Jefferson
if you got
Chase.
if you got the top two,
and BTJ?
I think that
If we're talking current, yeah, it's Keyshawn Booty, and that's
Yeah, but
who's not on that level. I'm just saying, but
I mean, the LSU has the top wide
Yeah.
receivers. Ohio State, it's like you want a really good wide receiver, you get drafted in the first round out of Ohio State, like you're kind of a stud. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. to people is like, oh, he's having his struggles. The Cardinals just stink. That offense is brutal. But Marvin Harrison Jr.
But you can drop passes too, and that's
He
what Marvin
has.
Harrison does.
But you know what? He got over that after that one game where they came back and they still lost. But no, I hope the best for the Cardinals. Besides Trey McBride, friend of the show, friend of the program, I don't really want any Cardinals in fantasy
No.
at all, Kevin, at all. There's another wide receiver in that list for Ohio State.
it was JSN.
Oh, Chris Olave, first round pick.
Was he in the photo? Is he in that famous photo?
I think so. No, he's not in that one. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
They're going to add to that list. Jeremiah Smith will also be up there as well. But now let's see if Zach goes 6 straight for your bet.
Mhm.
So Zach's trying to go 6 straight on his bet on Thursday nights. We'll see if his best bet hits. And we
It was
appreciate
Garrett Wilson
It was Garrett Wilson.
Mhm.
Well,
and Chris Olave.
and Chris Olave.
Malik Neighbors is
Oh, that's who.
that's who we're forgetting.
you.
Brian.
I knew there was a third.
Brian Thomas.
big
So we're going to have a conversation on which wide receiver core you would like between the two universities.
Yeah.
The discussion.
Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors, and Jamar Chase. Those are the 3 that you take.
Yeah,
You're not taking
I'm taking those 3. Ohio State maybe for depth, but
I gotta tell you what, man. I am not sleeping on Jackson Smith.
No, I'm not saying
no,
that
they're
you
all
do.
good. Yeah.
No,
saying that
but
you do. If you're taking a lineup like the first 3 wide receivers,
Chase and Jefferson 1-2 for me. I don't
and
think-
Neighbors.
I don't think I would take Neighbors or BTJ in front of JSN. I think JSN is that.
I
good.
think it's close. I think it's close between Neighbors and JSN, but I think
Yeah.
JSN is better than Brian Thomas.
But I think you could argue the top 3.
You can argue the
LSU.
top 3. You can. This is why
I think JSN has made it close between him and Neighbors, but
I think JSN after this year is going to be viewed as a top 3. Actually, I'm not going to say top 3 because I think Amon-Ra gets the most discredit in the world, and I think he's a top receiver.
All right.
Because he's like how Amon-Ra is and how he's still underrated, I think is what JSN is going to be viewed as moving forward. But
Actually,
they're
I
both.
also forgot Puka.
But I don't. Is Puka the same? Not in that system with Stafford.
You could say the same about Amon-Ra, though.
You could.
And JSN.
You could.
Darnold, so.
Yeah, JSN they had Darnold and Gino, who was throwing as many balls to the other team that he was to his own team.
Yeah.
Wow, what a discussion here to end this show. But
We have all 14 people watching.
all right.
This is terrible.
Now, all right, let's get on out of here. Hit the music.
All right.
As always, here on the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day, have a night, have a great stinking weekend. We'll be back on Sunday. Wake up with you as the Ravens take on the Bears on Sunday game day. Be good, be safe. Talk to you soon.
Peace.